because as I said, I get a lot of students who and professionals who talk about their problems, what they're going through during this layoff, and there are a lot of people, to be honest, right, who
Yeah,
going
yeah.
through this. So, Prithvi, can you first introduce yourself? And as you said, this is just a conversation between you and me, and I have some questions that I would like to ask you.
Mhm.
Yeah, can you go ahead?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So my situation was I got my H1B last year, and I got laid off in April 2020. And after that, I did some research as to what can I do to continue staying because of COVID. So I hired a lawyer and I applied for a change of status to B2 before my 60-day grace period ended. And since then, I have had many issues. So, what exactly happened with me was, even though my lawyer had filed for my change of status before my 60-day grace period ended,
Mm-hmm.
but due to some payment issues on the USCIS side, my application got rejected.
Mm-hmm.
So, the rejection notice has the receipt date within my 60 days,
Mm-hmm.
but it got rejected and then they reapplied, and then it got accepted and we got the change of status receipt. Now, due to that issue, uh, I had two offers after that, but they got rescinded because of the same thing, that they were like, no, you have your rejection notice, so you probably were not in your legal status. So there were a lot of speculations. Few lawyers see it in some way, few lawyers see it in the other way.
Right. So you're saying that after you had your status change, you got offers. This is like happened after we're in COVID time, right? During this time.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So to be precise, I had those offers around in July, and
Mm-hmm.
then since then I have been having, but I lost one offer because of the prevailing wage rule, which was later.
Okay.
And
Okay.
so my change of status ends on December 11th. That is exactly 1 week from now.
Mm-hmm.
And I am in a very cut to cut situation. So I have an employer who they had the same issue with me, like not being able to start because of the rejection notice. I got my lawyer and them into a conference call. My lawyer submitted proof that it was the USCIS problem, or it was the issue was on their end and it was not on my lawyer's end, that
Mm-hmm.
my application got rejected.
Mm-hmm.
And finally, after a lot of discussion, they have agreed to file for my H1B. But now, just having one more week left, I'm in a kind of thing that if everything happens on time and I get a H1B receipt, then I can withdraw my change of status application and continue staying in the States. Otherwise, I would have to leave the country in a week. So it's just, yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay. But is it so they didn't have to file a new H1? You probably can work still in your old.
No, they have. Yeah, I have. So when I got my H1B last year, I
Mhm.
have it valid till September 2022. So I have my status. Now, even if my change of status to B2 had gotten approved,
Mhm.
a new employer can always file for a change of status from B2 to back to my H1B because
Okay.
my
Okay.
status is valid till 2022.
Okay. 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 So let me ask you, what are the difficulties? Let's talk about your like when you had to when you got laid off. What was going through your mind at the time? Like, what should you have done differently? Like on in terms of action, did you get an idea like we were getting laid off, or it was like till the end you had no idea that this is going to happen, or you what precautions you would have taken, for example?
I had an idea. I had already started applying. In fact, there was one company, there were actually two companies that I had my final interview round done virtually.
Hmm.
And one of them was a startup, and the other was a pretty well established.
Hmm.
But the well established company waited till I could go on site. So, due to the COVID restrictions, even
Hmm.
though I had my final round virtually and they did want to go ahead with me, due to the COVID restrictions, they could not bring me on site. Now, by the time they could bring me on site, I was past my 60-day
Okay.
timeline. So that offer had that issue. Now the other offer was because it was a startup and COVID issues, they delayed it till last month. So even though I interviewed and everything was done before I got laid off, I was told by my hiring manager that they want to extend an offer, but it's just been a lot of bad luck for me that they extended it. Yeah. So I tried my best to take all the actions that I could. Now there is one thing to answer your question that I could have done differently was the one of my other friend who was laid off after I was. Now I was past my 60-day grace period, so I couldn't do anything. But what he smartly did was he got transferred his H1B to Indian consultancy. So there are so many Desi consultancies.
Right.
So what he did, so there are pros and cons there as well.
Right.
He's kind of stuck now.
Yeah. But I think the advantage was he didn't have to probably go through the change of status. But I've heard also horrible stories about those consulting companies.
Yeah, so it's like pros and cons. They take money from you, and then you have like a contract that you cannot get out of it.
Right. So yeah, you're right. There are. But let me ask you this question, because many people say change of status. Is there a right thing to do, or there is some alternative also that you now can think of in your mind? Like, why did I apply for change of status? I should have done rather this. Like, I don't know. I mean, is there any other options also? Or no.
No, I consulted multiple lawyers, but if you want to continue staying in the US, that is the only way you can gain some time. Also, this change of status to B2, if a person wants, that can get extended also. So if I want, I can still file for an extension of change of status. But I don't want to do that because anyways, my change of status has not yet been approved. So if I go back to India right away, I will be back on my H1B status. And I want to keep that window open, and hence I don't want to extend it.
So for example, your B1 status is not active, right? As I said, it's not been approved. Then now you have a job and now you want to go back again to H1. Is there a process where you can say to USGS, hey, don't even bother about that? Or then what would be the situation since you already passed your 60 period, what that will tell about your status in this country, like legally?
So legally, I am able to stay in the US on that receipt of change of status. So that is why it is very important.
As long as you want.
No, for 6 months. So when I apply for my change of status, I have mentioned on that document that so you get 6 months on B2. I requested that I want to stay in the US till December 11th. So I can stay here on that receipt, whether it gets approved or it doesn't. Till the time I have that receipt with me, my stay is legal. And that is how my company is planning, my new employer is planning to apply for H1B by using that receipt. And, my H1B is already valid till 2022. So that is how they're planning to file for my H1B petition.
So let me ask you, if once they file it, you will get a receipt immediately, or it takes time because you need that receipt to say, okay, I can stay now?
So they are going for premium processing. They will be. So they are expecting that I would get a receipt number in 1 to 3 days.
Right.
So they are hoping that even if they file next week, maybe say Monday, if I get my receipt till Wednesday or Thursday, I will have to, it's just gambling right now. Yeah.
Right. So let me, but you said you had a week, right? So like December 11th, you said your deadline, right? But if it passes and this doesn't happen, you like really have to leave like before 11? Is that what it is?
I should leave on December 11th because I do not want to incur any illegal stay.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. But let's say if even if they are able to give you a receipt, and let's say you had to leave, you can come back in that if your employers is okay with that. Is that or not?
Yeah, but my employer are not okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Because of the consulates being closed outside, they can't wait so much for me.
True. Interesting. So let me ask you this question. One of the questions that a lot of students ask me, especially they are undergrad in India, I think this is like a too far type of a question, probably. I mean, and your situation is a little bit different, so your answer could be biased in that sense. They say, we, because I see a lot of students now, especially when they come here for their masters, they get loans, right? That's a big thing. And
Mm-hmm.
then they want to have a job because they have to, reimburse the loan, and then they want to work and all that. Do you think it's worth for anybody who is in their final year now thinking about taking a loan and come to US, looking at the situation, or do you think this is just temporary?
Oh.
I know it's a
um,
tough question to answer.
yeah, I mean, honestly, everyone would have their perspective, and everyone's scenario is different. So I think if they want to try, if they still want to come, there are many universities in the US which people in India they don't are not aware of, that they have good research funding. So
But as a master's, you usually sometimes don't get funding, right? You get like a
no,
PhD, you can.
no, they do. So, for
Okay.
example, Clemson University. So that is why, when you're back in India, we do not do a lot of research. We don't
Mhm.
really understand. We don't deep dive into it. But I think if those students really deep dive into so you have to really know that which department. Like, so I'm a mechanical engineer, so you have to
Right.
know that if in that university that department has good funding, you can become a grader for a professor
Right, right.
or a TA or a lab assistant. So there are ample opportunities where you don't have to pay tuition fees. So I
Okay.
think they have to do a good trade-off, and uh, I I really don't think I can comment on any
Yeah, yeah.
long-term situation here.
Here's the thing. The reason I ask you, if I look at my situation, I have been living in this country for 15 years now. And,
Mm-hmm.
I did my master's just like you, and then did my PhD, and then moved on with jobs. But since I graduated after PhD, it's been 10 years, I would say. And then 10 years, two times I have been laid off.
Ah.
So, but um, my situation was different because I had a green card. I didn't have to worry about things, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
the way I see it, I said, if you work in a private sector, no matter what the situation would be, you will see times in your life that you will go through the situation, whether it's
Mm-hmm.
COVID or not. I'm
Ah.
100% sure about that now.
Okay.
Because when I got laid off two times, uh, both of time there was no COVID.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But as I said, in my case, the situation was a little different. But then I see, the reason why I say so is because I had a PhD. I was able to apply for a green card. I got it, right?
You're right.
But for masters, especially you're coming from India or Mexico or some other countries, I think as a masters, it's never ending. It takes forever.
I know. Yeah.
And so, as I said, I want to get your second opinion on that. That do you think like if you have to live in this constant fear of being, because let's say you get a job, put it this way,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Who knows what happens down the line, 2 years down the line, right?
Yeah. So,
What's the solution for that? Do you think that is it still worth pushing you this much throughout your life? And I know people. There was a guy I spoke to him actually. He had family. He left to Hyderabad, and he was calling me from there because I do this career thing now. And he was saying to me that I was working for 10 years. I had kids. I left. What can I do? I actually I had to answer, and part of the reason was very simple because he couldn't get a green card. That's everybody, because that is the one thing that you need to stay. And if especially if you work for private sector, when I was graduating, oil industry was the best companies to work with, but
mm-hmm.
now it's the
Yeah.
worst company within 10 years. So who knows,
Yeah.
technology goes where, right? And
Right.
I have friends, to be honest with you, who were working at ExxonMobil, Schlumberger, who got fired now. They are looking for a job, and they are going through the scenario. So I was thinking, like, what can you tell a student, because this is a difficult answer, and a lot of students say, ask me this question, as I said, and I'm not in the position to answer that because my situation is different, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
I don't have to worry about leaving the country, even if I don't have a job. But for
Yeah.
people who have to leave a country, especially if you're single, probably it's easy. But if you have family and if you have investments like houses and whatever,
Yeah.
what do you think?
So the way I have prepared myself, obviously going through this situation for so many months now, I
Right,
have a mindset. I mean,
right, right.
I cannot let myself go through every now and then. So if things turn out well, I will continue staying here. But
Mhm.
with saying that, it doesn't mean I'm going to not have a plan B. I
Yeah,
have
right.
made myself like very clear to me that I'm going to have multiple options. I'm trying to apply for a PR in Canada.
Hmm.
I'm also open to okay with going back to India because I'm single right now. I have multiple options. As you said,
Right, right.
yeah, in the future, having family, things would be different. But I have made one thing very clear to myself now that I'm not going to be dependent on just one thing. I have to keep. I cannot be scared of going back or
This thing
exploring
again.
different options. Yeah.
Right,
So
right.
yeah, I don't think
So you
I
you think this situation has made you more aware that I just cannot believe that this job is going to be forever. You have to have a plan B where you have to fix things.
yeah, you just
Yeah,
have you should just know that if things go wrong again, you shouldn't you should know like it's okay to go back to India and
right,
because
right,
it doesn't really make sense to torture yourself mentally so much or
right.
emotionally.
Even if you're in a job, probably, right? You always think about whether should I buy thing or not.
Yeah,
Especially if you
exactly.
have a big investment, right? Like what either I mean, I'm pretty sure like as I said, a lot of students probably go through this thing and have issues with it. Did you find anything else that I mean, people, a lot of people also talk about the politics and all that, but I think, president come, president go. But what I have felt is in last 10 years or so, even any government comes, I have not seen the immigration situation becoming good for students. I have not seen that happening. It has become worse and
Right.
worse and worse, actually, to be
Yeah,
honest.
I think it's because of the inflow of people that it's getting tougher and tougher now.
Right, right. And I think immigration situation or the scenario also been changing or things like that. Let me ask you one thing. Did you try to explore opportunity back in India? And if you did, what type of response did you get? Do you think there are opportunities or do you think they are much harder than here or anything? Or even for, let's say, talk about Canada, even getting Canada PR, how easy it is. Even because any second person I talk, he says, I'm applying for Canada PR.
Yeah, so yeah, as I it's like if we had had this conversation say 7 months, 8 months back, it was an easy process. But now seeing that I mean, I just recently read the news that they are now having a tie, and they have to, give give PR based on who applied first if the points are the same. So this just shows that how things are going to be in the future. So Canada PR is again going to be a very big
Tough.
issue. Yeah, very tough. But as far as India is concerned, um, touch wood, but I don't have a lot of financial responsibility on my head. So I had
Right.
not started exploring India options. I was like, I would go back, take a month or two
Then
and explore. And then, because when you're in India, you don't need a job right away.
right, right. That's your
Yeah.
country, so you
Yeah,
don't have
I
to
can.
worry. That's your home also,
Yeah.
right? You don't have to worry about who's gonna cook food, probably. Right.
Yeah, and
So
then you don't even have that restriction that you have to have a
right,
job in your field. I can explore some other area and just get a job in whatever field I like.
right, right, right. Is there a? Do you think like most of the Indian students, especially I say, and in this scenario, everybody talks about is it in either looking for Canada or some option in US. Do you see there is a third option also, or that's not worth exploring then? Like even Australia or somewhere else, or that's too far.
Hmm. No, I mean, I just felt there are other European countries. I mean, you can directly apply to jobs also to other countries, but
Hmm.
I I feel that I have good enough experience.
Hmm.
And if I go back to India, I can make something out of my life. So it's just too
Okay.
far off exploring those kind of things.
So
So
either here or let's go back. That's
yeah,
the
it was yeah. And
okay.
after so Yeah.
Okay, okay. Or what about you? I mean, that's probably your personal opinion, but
Yeah.
a lot of students also are thinking about going back to school, either for an MBA, either for an PhD or something. Have you tried to explore that also, or that didn't came to your mind? Or what
I
was
do
the
not.
what was thought process in that
So
in
I
that?
I did not want to do a PhD. That is one
Mhm,
thing I knew.
mhm.
I cannot come back to the US for any of the master's degree because I wouldn't get my OPT.
Right, right. So
I can.
MBA is a master, so you don't get an OPT.
Yeah,
Right.
MBA is the same level, master's level, so I don't get my OPT. So coming to US doesn't make sense. And I have experience, but I don't have so much experience again that I can pay off my college fees again for my MBA in Canada.
Yeah, because that's extremely expensive, right?
That is very expensive. So I just thought, I mean, I started keeping my options limited to,
Okay, okay,
India.
okay, okay. So, but do you think that, or do you hear about with this COVID among your friends and everyone, how they are dealing with the situation? Of if you have some friends who have gone through this job layoff and all
Um,
that, is that if do you find like that's the only option that apply and try to find a job and stay floated, or there's any other somebody did a really smart thing or figure out something else?
no, I mean, thankfully, not many of my friends have been through this, but I think the only other thing that I can think of is applying, getting your H1B transferred to an Indian consultancy. I think that's the smart thing to do because even though there are some pros and cons, after a year at least you can move to another company or something. So
Okay. I think I covered a lot of questions, Ruchi. Thanks for that. But do you think there anything else? Let's say if I am the guy who lost his job, I'm in H1, what's your advice? Give 2 cents if you can,
I would
without
say
wasting my time. What should I do?
you should, well, obviously, first of all, start looking for another job.
Hmm.
But the other thing I would say is apply for change of status because that gives you, because again, the situation was bad when I got laid off. April was the time I got laid off. So
Right,
those
right.
months were the worst months. I think we are past that now. The job market has started opening since September. So if anyone who has got laid off around August or something, applying for change of status should be a very good option because I'm so much more confident that they would land up a job in January or February. And
Right.
more and more people understanding the situation, companies would be willing to get an H1B transfer. It's just important that your receipt date on your change of status is within your 60-day grace period. I
So
think
let me ask you, when you lost your job, did you apply change of status right away, or did you wait it for 60 days or 45 days?
I
And
I waited for 50 days.
is that the right thing to do?
Yeah, because you get more six
Time.
longer 6 months, right?
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, 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 okay. And also you may be able to get jobs so you can move it quickly.
Yeah, that's
Okay,
always an option. Yeah.
okay, okay. Cool. Thanks so much for your time. And
Yeah,
I hopefully,
sure.
that these questions might help somebody who is probably going through this
Hopefully, yeah.
story. Yeah. And as I said, good luck to you. I will
Thank you.
have my prayers and finger crossed for you. And I
Thank
hopefully,
you
and
so
if
much.
things work out, let me know. Okay.
Sure, I will. Thank you. It was
Yeah.
nice talking to you, Amit.
You too. Bye.
Yeah, bye.